A little under the weather here. Check. Hi. Yeah. All righty. See what we got here. Okay. It is Monday. What you got to say morning about our football weekend? Hey, how you doing? Hot tea. Hello, hot tea, not coffee today. And we go jump in. We're going to talk about the top 25 because we got to try to fix our sound here a little bit. Yeah. There it is. Okay. All right. So here we go, guys. I mean, a lot has happened, obviously. A ton has happened. But what did not happen is the top 25 rankings did not change, and nor should they. And so, as we talk about it today, we're talking with the thought process or with the understanding that the top four teams are still the top four teams until conference championships. But we are going to talk about the teams that played their tails off, the teams that really should get a little more conversation that they're getting. And we're going to talk about the fall offs because, we talked about no lose November. You cannot lose in November if you want to get to the dance, and that's FBS and FCS. And so the FCS dance is much longer at a 16 team bracket, and the FBS is a 14 bracket. All right, so we start off with the top 25 just because the top 25 is where the juice lies. All right, and so in that top 25, your number one Bulldog took care of business. Took care of that Mississippi State Bulldog, 45-19. Man, Coach Kirby has no chill right now. None. He like, yo, I ain't hearing nothing about Alabama. I'm not hearing nothing about take your foot off the gas. Look, you showed up, so now we got to show out. Georgia, number one, still holding it down. All right, Ohio State, number two. Everyone knows I'm from Michigan. Everyone knows I can't wait for this Ohio State-Michigan game. Everyone knows that Ohio State-Michigan game is going to be epic. Epic. Yeah, man. So epic that Ohio State took care of business on Indiana 56-14. Like, for real, if you really look at it, Georgia and Alabama are doing basketball numbers. They are. They're doing basketball numbers. And 56 points on Indiana. And Indiana got a stud at quarterback. Last year he had a day. But unfortunately, Stroud went off. He went 17 for 28, 297, and 5 tutties. Just telling you. All right. And then, as we go to the number 3 team in the country, I had this game up for upset alert because of the head coach I played for, Coach Whip, is the offensive coordinator at Nebraska. And the reason I had it on upset alert because Michigan tends to get lackadaisical at times in my assessment of their opponents. And being Nebraska's, they were playing for the West, but now they're out, and all they have is to play for their transfer papers, to play for their Big Ten All Conference, and to play for an upset. And Nebraska, I felt like, matched up with Michigan to pull off an upset, bar that Michigan didn't get cute with McCarthy, and they didn't. Hand off, all that. Touchdown, and they win. That's what we wanted. We wanted a W, and they got the W. That's all that mattered. All right, so Michigan got it done 34-3. All right, and then TCU. What you gonna do? They went down to the Texas Longhorn Stadium and they battled it out in good fashion, 17-10. So as it stands, those are your 4 teams. Now, the team who's on the out looking in, Tennessee, Old Mountain Rocky Top. Okay, my man Hooker, again, he is a finalist of the Heisman Trophy. If he does not win it, it will be because my man Corm from Michigan just had a day against Michigan. Okay, because right now, unfortunately, he no longer has a Heisman winning game. Maybe the SEC title game, maybe, but I think a lot has to happen for them to even get to that. And because of it, Corm shows up against Ohio State, and he does two bills against Ohio State. That's your Heisman Trophy winner, period. Okay, now my man Uncle D. I know my man Uncle D is hot about this. His pee is hot. Okay, there was for Oregon to find themselves on the outside looking out based on which they were the Cinderella team, if you will. Unfortunately, they lost both shoes this weekend against Washington. 37-34 barn burner, fourth quarter field goal, fourth quarter touchdown to put Washington in the driver's seat to beat Oregon. And it was at Eugene. That's an upset. Okay, and then it keeps going. Another team looking out that I don't think will get in, but the SEC is so tricky, is LSU. Look, they did not beat Arkansas convincingly. They beat Arkansas 13-10, even though it was at Arkansas. That doesn't matter. And the way the committee is looking at stuff, that's going to matter. And so, let's get to my man, Juicy Kiffin. Alabama Ole Miss. Shout out to Coach Kiffin, man, going at people. I retweeted him or reshared it or put it on my story. Him and Firebomb over there, man. Like, because the reality of the media has a lot to do with coaches who keep their job and don't keep their job. Media influence the fan base. The fan base dictates ticket sales and merchandise sales. And so if the media gets on a fire coach bandwagon and it's the right media personality, bye-bye coach. And Coach Kiffin addressed that on the College Game Day show. Kiffin has no chill either, boys. Why should he? His dad is Monty Kiffin. I only can hope that I've made enough impact in this game that my son understands when to call the people out on the flag and when to just shut up. It was house money. Firebomb was asking about Alabama, not Ole Miss, which is fair to Kiffin's and Coach Saban's relationship. But Kiffin didn't care $2 about that. Remember that time that you got me fired at USC? So this was a great opportunity for me to address you on TV like you addressed me without me being there. Yeah. I doubt they bring Coach Kiffin back to a game day interview or pick him again. But shout out Coach Kiffin, shout out Ole Miss. Look, I'm a fan of Coach Kiffin, partly because he was the young coach of the young coaches who was making it okay to hire a young coach. And I'm okay with Coach Kiffin calling him out on that. I think, playing Alabama, what you got to lose? You either go win or you're not going to win. And if you don't win, everybody's going to say, I told you so. You're not ready yet. But outside of that, I got something for the media or for anyone who dare to say they should fire me again. And he addressed it. So to all of my media influencers, all of my sports talk people, be leery of whose job you're calling for. Because when's the last time someone called for your job? When was the last time some random person who was never in your building got on social media and spoke to a rumor that they've heard about your company and found your name on the company website and said, "Oh, he's in charge of this department. All right, I'm gonna go on and boost up my ratings, boost up my following, boost up my views, my likes, my shares by going after this dude's job." And so, for all of my fans out there, remember, your favorite your favorite ball coach got more than 2 years. The coach that you want, the coach that you want can't do it in 2 years. And so it's my hopes that if you are a fan, if you are an administrator, or if you are a coach, look, there's no um, winning dust. There's no winning magic, no magic winning dust like pixie dust. It just doesn't exist. That's in the books. That's in the movies. Like in real life, you need to get used to people. People need to get used to you. You need to be able to evaluate the people who are influencing your players and maybe change some roles off the field. And you need to evaluate our players in the right positions on the field. You like this does not happen just because I had a bubbly personality or that, hey, I'm like a beautiful mind with the X's and O's. Like none of that will matter because when the game, when that whistle blows and that ball snaps, everything you put on that board is theory. Now, when they get to the football field, it's putting theory to action. And so, yeah, like on the board he should be open, but the board is not accounting for fatigue. The board is not accounting for the individual player that's guarding him. The board is not accounting for the experience of the other coordinator or the players on the field. The board is just hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking, if they line up like this and we line up like this should be open. That's football. Now, those who are really good are able to dive a little bit deeper and see the derivatives of players, derivatives of game plan, formations, alignments, etc. And so, yeah, your favorite coach need more than 2 years, period. And so, if you have a coach or if you're an alum of a school and your coach is not getting it done right now, do not trip. This is either year one or year two. And if you are one of those year two bulls, I'm here to tell you, you just go boo the next guy too. So fandemonium needs to reel itself in and ask yourself, are you truly a fan? And if you're a fan, get on board with the process of the school, the program, and the team. All right, I'm off my soapbox. I'm done. Done. I'm finished. All right, let me move on. That's the top 25. And here's the worst part about me addressing the top five to the top 1 through 6 or 7 is like championship conference games and rivals still have to happen. And in those rivals and championship games, people get upset. It's just a fact of life. And if you do what you need to do and they don't, you'll find yourself where you want to be. But let me be clear, you can't worry about what they do now because it's not in your hands. It's no longer in your control. Your destiny is in someone else's control. So all you can do is sit back, do your job, and see what happens. It's the worst. It's the worst. But no one put you in this predicament but you. All right, so let's go over to the FCS. As you guys know, if you follow my social, yes, I went to a college football game for the first time in a long time. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've gone to a college football. Actually, yes, I can. Rutgers, Louisville, 2007, but that doesn't matter. So I go to. We talk about the CA. I played in the CA / Atlantic 10. Yeah, and so as we talk about the CAA, I want to also keep this in mind that CAA football is like the SEC of FCS. Those are a lot of alphabet. So essentially, everything that you know about 1AA or FCS football, which is the Division One, but a downgrade from FBS football, which is the national playoff that everyone's talking about. The FCS has a national playoff as well. Now, as we talk about this, I want you guys to understand that I went to this UNH Rhode Island game with the understanding that Rhode Island needed to win for them to be in a playoff conversation. We also spoke about how there were many teams in a need to win moment to put some teams at 2 losses. Well, all of the teams that needed to put their teams at 2 losses did not do it. Across the board. Across the board. Delaware needed to put Richmond at a 2 loss. They lose. Rhode Island needed to put UNH at a 2 loss. They lose. It was to the point where I'm looking at this playoff situation, a scenario, and I'm saying in this scenario, I'm not sure that the CAA is going to take more than 3 teams now. In fact, I'm almost certain they're not going to take more than 3 teams. Right? Just because it doesn't behoove them to. Why doesn't it behoove them to? Because you got a Patriot League that's balling. You got a Big Sky League that's balling. And I'm sure they're voting. Like I'm saying, the Patriot League needs to take Holy Cross and Fordham. Man. And then, look, Villanova needed to beat William and Mary for this to be even a conversation. And Villanova, unfortunately, did not beat William and Mary. Bill and Mary got busy 14-12. That's how that ended. Now, the Rhode Island game and UNH game that I was at. Great game. UNH 31, Rhode Island 28. This game came down to the final finish and a photo finish. Man, okay, first off, the kid who scored the winning touchdown. Shout out to him. Because, there's no hate in my heart. That's why. I don't believe in it. Because the reality of it, no matter what happens in the game, right? No matter what happens, people still have to execute it. No matter where the call went, who was wrong in the call, none of that. Bottom line, somebody has to catch the ball, someone has to throw the ball, and some people have to block for all of that to happen. And so, shout out to the quarterback Lincolns and shout out to Max Brosnan with the end of the game catch. Now, I've watched it on Twitter, and I'm not sure that was a catch. And they've been reviewing every play, every crucial play. They were reviewing every play. And it was odd that they did not review this play because this was 17 seconds left in the game. If I'm not mistaken, it was 3rd down, and they went with the fade ball. 1, 2, 3, fade, touchdown, game. Now, they had some more seconds on the clock for Rhode Island, but it wasn't going to matter because the play that ended the game was the fade, the 26-yard pass to my man Brosnan that put UNH up 31-28. And it was a pretty play. UNH was smart by not replaying it on a Jumbotron. Look, the ref called it a touchdown. Let's keep it a touchdown. Next play. But later, Twitter, as usual, Twitter goes nuts. And Twitter finds the close shots of the dude catching the ball. And as he catches it, but when he falls, he tries to bobble it to control it. And by the time he hits the ground, you get a little shake in the ball, which probably would have been ruled as a incomplete pass and would have forced UNH to kick a field goal to tie the game up 31-31. which now you're talking about extra innings and what ifs 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 and what ifs. And so, being that did not happen, I do want to say kudos to the UNH staff, kudos to the Rhodey staff, URI staff. The fan bases came out. I think that let's see. I think we can find out what the attendance was. Yes, the attendance was 8,000. The stadium sits 15,000. So I mean, 8,000 people. That's still a lot of people. And the atmosphere was great. It was 70 degrees. The sun was out. The tailgates was out. We had a great time. So shout out to UNH having a great game day atmosphere. It's been a long time since I've even played at UNH, let alone just to be in the stands. But be that as it may, good game with Coach Santos. And as they continue their journey, finishing strong is not easy. And I would only expect that as they finish coming up to Maine got something to say. So Maine gone and Coach Stevens going to give them their first L or their second L, excuse me. Make it a little interesting. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, anyway. All right, so that's CAA play. Yeah. And like Richmond took care of business. William & Mary took care of business. New Hampshire took care of business. Rhode Island did not take care of business, and Delaware did not take care of business. And because of that, unfortunately, people, it looks like we're looking at William & Mary, Richmond, locked in the playoffs. They will be the locks. And who gets the at-large bid? If the CAA says, okay, look, if the playoff committee gives them an at-large bid and they can get a third team in, I'm gonna tell you the third team probably will be New Hampshire. I mean, like New Hampshire should win the North. I don't know how they're gonna split the South with William & Mary and Richmond, but one of the two teams, they're gonna send three teams to the CAA play. I mean, from the CAA to the playoffs. All right, now let's talk the Patriot League, because I'm just telling you, Holy Cross and Fordham need to be in there. And that's all I got to say. Like, Holy Cross, mind you, is Holy Cross is like putting up 50 points a game. They put up 42 against Lehigh. And then Fordham put up 45 against Lafayette. I'm just saying, them two teams need to be in the playoffs. And if they're in the playoffs, I'm going to tell you, you're going to like what you see. They may be able to beat one of those two CAA teams. They might be able to beat a William & Mary in Richmond and UNH. This is the first time in a long time that two Patriot League teams, I'm telling you, if they get matched up with any of the CAA teams, I'm going Patriot League here. You heard it here first. Mark it. All right. That's all I really got to say about them. All right, the Ivy League. This was crazy. All right. So now, Ivy League, we all understand. I've been talking about it. Ivy League, like the CAA, needed some people to win, so it could be a funky finish at the end and some people to lose. Yale, who was on the outs behind Penn, they took care of business. They got a dub. They beat Princeton. Penn, who was playing Harvard, needed to beat Harvard, so now Princeton has one loss, Yale has one loss, Penn has one loss. But because Harvard beat Penn, now Penn has two losses along with Harvard. So now what has to happen? Harvard has to beat Yale for them to have two losses, and then Penn has to beat Princeton for them to have two losses. Now you're looking at four teams with two losses at number one. Have they ever had a four-way tie for the number one spot in the Ivy League? I'm not sure, but if they do, I've been telling y'all, I don't want to hear nothing about no ties. Hey, bro, I'm glad you won it too. We won it too. Y'all took care of business, so we took care of business, and they took care of business, so we all got rings. That's all that matters. That's all that means to me. Man, look, competition is very thick. It's very hard to win, and margin of error becomes smaller and smaller and smaller once you get to the top of the mountain. And so, look, sometimes you just got competitive teams all at the top of the mountain, and it's hey, you got the east, I got the west, I got the south, you got the north. Hey, and we all get to share this mountain. That seems like that's okay for me. That's very okay for me. In fact, my two Ivy League championships were shared. You think I'm going around telling people, yeah, this one was shared and this one was shared? I'm saying, no, I am not. So this could be an interesting four-way split in the Ivy League. I mean, there are only 8 teams. Um, yeah, and I don't think they consider their out-of-conference play to decide whether or not. Um, I don't think they even do tiebreakers. Let's leave it at that. But my man, my man Jake on that defense, at that Penn defense, I think he done broke the sack record. I hope he has. He should has if he hasn't. And if he hasn't, he gonna need to against Princeton. So you gotta show up, big dog. You gotta show up. Period. And then you gotta hope Harvard can take care of business against Yale. And if Harvard take care of business against Yale, and Princeton takes care of business, and Penn takes care of Princeton, Princeton will be 5-2. Yale will be 5-2. Penn will be 5-2. Harvard will be on the outs at 4-3. So it really will be a 3-way tie, not 4. Excuse me. All right, so that's the Ivy. Yeah, and really much else to say about that. I mean, I love the Ivy League. 10 games in and out. What you about? I love it. All right, now we're gonna finish with the Division 3. Yeah, man. Okay, so this is interesting, and I don't know if this is a fact. All right, so just to give the kudos to where the kudos are due, or as they say, the cock-a-doodle-doos, where the cock-a-doodle-doos are due. And the cock-a-doodle-doos took their business. Trinity going 9-0. Hey, it's hard to be perfect. I don't care who you are. And they got it done. And they not only was perfect, they was perfect when it counted. And it counted at the end. And so shout out to Trinity winning the NESCAC. Hats off, man. Hats off to the coaching staff. Hats off to the players. Hats off to the administration, because to go undefeated, it is not just a schematic approach. It's just not you got good players. It's not because you can get the players you want. There's a cohesion there on all levels of that program that allows you to go 9-0. Period. Like, you don't dumb in the 9-0 just like you don't dumb in the 0-9. That's how I feel. So the same requirements that goes 9-0, consequently enough, as the same things that you're not putting in to go 0-9, right? So, like, it's been very clear to me. If you go 0-9, and like you're okay with going 0-9. I've been 0-9. I'm not saying that they were okay with going 0-9. I know the players and the coaching staff wasn't. But when you do go over, there's some forensic evaluation that has to go on with the coaching staff, with the administration, and players. All, like, you cannot run away from by saying, yeah, I did everything right and I didn't win one game. Like, that's not real. And for the players, like, I did everything right. It's just the coaches. And for the administration, like, hey, we supported you all the right ways. Like, when you lose and when you win, there's supporting cast that, believe it or not, affects the win or the loss. There are so many variables in winning that if you are just thinking, I need good players and a good coaching staff to win, you'll be sadly mistaken. And not only will your feelings be hurt, you might be physically hurt, because you went into a game thinking you already had it, thinking it's mine, thinking I'm Gucci, thinking I got it. Like, no, you don't. You do not have it until you have it. And if you don't have it, you got to work every day to get it. And that's on all facets of programming, administration, coaches, players. Like, it has to be, and it's no secret that is by three, right? Players, coaches, admins. Like, you got to be three the hard way to win. Three the hard way to win. And if you were three the hard way, it's unbreakable. You can't break me. You can't break what we're doing because we're holding each other accountable far greater than the outside, far greater than our opponents. Your opponent is supposed to hold you accountable by their play calls, by their schematic approach. Like, it's competition, and it's the equalizer to those who want to win and do what they need to do to win, and those who don't want to win and don't want to do what they need to do. Competition exposes you, period. And so again, I'm off my soapbox there. Shout out to Trinity getting it done, winning the NESCAC. I don't know how many years in a row. I don't know how many they got. They got a lot. Now, shout out to my boys, Bates, right? Getting 3 dubs. I know it three. They went 3-6. That is what it is. But they went 3-6. And as I understand it, it's called a 3-way tie for the CBB because they beat Bowdoin, Bowdoin beat Kobe, and Kobe beat Bates. So I don't know how they split that up, but I think they need to get that right and get that right fast because at the end of the day, I told you guys, I don't care about ties. Like, a tie is a tie, and I'm taking my tie and my win and talking about me and my group and my band and how we won it. You will never enter my mouth in my conversation if we have a tie championship. It just won't happen. Won't happen. So, kudos to my boys at Bates for getting it done, winning their last game on the road at Hamilton. Um, this was not an easy year for him. This was not an easy year for anyone. Coach Cohen being able to get it done as well and get a on the road victory after going on a 3-game slide. That was all tough losses and hard to handle, especially consider 2 of them were at home, and then the last one at Trinity, which was a tough one. And so I spoke to her earlier in my pods early, like, look, coaches get paid to bury games emotionally so they can win the next game. Coach Cohen has done a great job. Coach Cohen has done a great job over there rebounding after a 3-game losing streak and coming out to Hamilton, getting it done at Hamilton on the road. If you follow my IG, yes, I put the Hamilton music on there. I'm not gonna miss my shot. I love that song. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I love it, and I love that the bass Bobcat Posse got it done, and I'm like elated because it's look, it's hard to win, and it's okay to win, and they won. Period. And so when you win, enjoy the fruits of your labor and the fruits of your victory, the spoils of the victory. So be safe, stick together, and don't do anything I wouldn't do twice. All right, now that's it. That's it. That's the college football catch up. Monday morning quarterback. Monday morning what happened. Monday morning, I don't know if I can even be a fan of my team anymore. Whatever it is, whatever is your truthers or preference. This is Catch Up with Coach. I am Coach Hall, and you are officially caught up. Peace.